First day, finally back to running. I gotta get over the ice in the shoes. This was not possible the other day. I was gonna try it and it was just a no-go. Finally getting back to where I can actually walk around on it without dying. In sneakers anyways, running shoes. I'm also looking into a new pair of running shoes. We'll see how that goes. I really have a lot more time left in these. They're a little small for what I want, but they're okay. They'll work. I wanted to make a winter video. Not gonna do that this year. I'm gonna wait until next year. Give me more time to prep for future videos coming up. But we're gonna go hit a mile today. Not a mile. We're gonna go hit a run today. Probably more than a mile, because it's like 40 degrees, but it feels like 46. So it's actually incredibly warm feeling out here. It's nice and balmy. I can feel the warmth of the sunshine. All the snow is finally melting. So it's gonna be a good run. Today's objective is very simple. We're not going for speed. We're going for distance and consistency. We need to be able to I want to get in 2 miles. The point is that we're not going for something that is intense. We're not going for something that is too stressing. We're going for something that is a bit of an icebreaker back into what we want. And honestly, you don't need to run 1 billion miles every single day in order to be some sort of crazy athlete. You know, I've always been good at running and good at soccer, and I've been fast. And some of that's just genetics, some of that is just your body's build and structure. But honestly, the most important part, I'm just warming up right now, which is why I stopped. But the most important part is really just being consistent. I know it doesn't sound fun. It's not a fun answer. But, you know, being consistent is really just the most important thing you can do. If you want to build something that's over a long period of time. Oh, that was slushy. I almost slipped right there. That's the most important part, because if you don't, then what you end up getting is on and off consistency. And it's hard when you have the elements and you have the weather. Like, you know, it's been a week since I've been out running. It's been more than that, between being busy and then being gone, and then the ice and the snow. And so what are you gonna do? But the only thing you really can do is get back to it as soon as you can. I gotta start my timer, my watch. It's an open running goal. I always do open goals. Just for now, I gotta slow this down. But yeah, so let's try and get in 2 miles today. Also, my eye is swollen and puffy. It's so weird. I have this right here. Man, it's kind of annoying, but anyways, let's get this. Like I said in my last video, I'm really going for that zone 2 heart rate and consistency. Basically, I still need to be able to comfortably talk to the camera without, So in a way, this is kind of like having a buddy or some sort of partner that can run alongside me. That I can say, oh, and I don't have a partner for running right now, but in the future I'd like to join a running club or something. But for right now, I got the camera and I have my own consistency. And that's plenty. And then I get to have all of you guys as my running buddy. And if you saw my video about this year and what I want to do this year, then you'll know some of the stuff that's up and some of the stuff that I want to do. It's so funny. My neighbor's just like sitting there in their truck, waiting for the kid to pick up from the bus. Here comes the bus. It's busy hour. And I'm just down here talking to the camera. That's some YouTuber vlogger lifestyle stuff for you right there. Gosh, I'm so excited for what we're doing and what we're gonna do this year. Oh, cinematic videos and vlogs and I really want to start talking about my own life more. Because otherwise, none of you guys really know what I'm about. Well, you know what I'm about, but you don't know why I'm about it. So we're going to straighten that out. Let me get past these guys. Doing good so far. I'm in zone 1 right now from all that walking I just did. The goal is not the time. It's not the pace today. The goal, well, I guess it's kind of the pace, but mostly the goal is the distance. Isn't the sky beautiful? Look at that. That is just gorgeous. Like nothing. There's just nothing up there except for that little white cloud. And there's still snow on the ground. You can see it's still snowy, but the roads are clean. As we say in Australia, they're clean as. It's amazing. Nice and warm. These are the days, man. These are the days. Got up into zone 3. Basically, I need to just walk. Whew. The other thing about running, it really works your system too. So like, if you got anything going on in your guts, it's gonna come out. Whether before the run, after the run, might be during the run. It'll come out up top, it'll come out down the bottom. It's going to. Beautiful, beautiful for regulating your gut motility. These are the things people don't talk about. I've never heard anyone say before that running helps your gut because it's physically moving stuff through. Like in chemistry, there's chemical reactions and then there's physical reactions. There's literally a chemical reaction. I'm sorry, a physical reaction. You're creating something physically that otherwise wouldn't have happened. And that's the beauty of that, is you can do that. It's really so simple. You just gotta go out and do it. And if you're like me, then you love doing it. It's so regulating. Like, I need this in my life. I need this in my day. Gotta pick up the pace again. And by the way, this video right now is just being taken on my phone with the front-facing camera. Literally the lowest tech you could ever get. Well, definitely not the lowest tech, but the most accessible. Talking to the camera is really helping me to regulate this. Because I immediately know I gotta slow back down. That's the fun part too. Like, there's so much you can learn just from running and just from being outside. There's so much you can learn from going out. Here, there's my shadow. There's so much to learn. So much that God can show you when you're out in the quiet. And it's just you, and you're just thinking, and you're not listening to anything. Although, I do love good music on a run. But, gotta slow it down more. Let's check the watch real quick. Let's see what the watch says we're at. Zone 4. Okay. 173 BPM. We're gonna just level that out. Okay. There we go, that's better. It was recording wrong before. But we're getting back down there. I just got a notification. We're back in zone 3. Living the dream. That's the other thing too. This gets you out of whatever it is you're in. Whether that's like relationship trouble or difficulty or personal trouble. Maybe your job's not going the way you want it. Life just isn't going the way you want it to go. But when you're out here doing this, that all melts away. Or at least gets you far away from it, that you can have a better chance to think about it more clearly than you would have otherwise. I should probably not put this on the podcast because that would just be torture to whoever is listening on audio. I don't know. Do you guys enjoy it? When I put these videos on the podcast platform, let me know. Like, would you listen to it on Apple, even if you couldn't see it? I don't know if I would. At the same time, though, it might be more engaging. The real, the authentic. Or maybe I should just keep that for when I'm at home and I can be fake, and inauthentic. trying to shoot from the shadow side. Look at how much better that looks as opposed to like here when I get in the sun. Oh yeah, looks so much better. Okay, I'm gonna just lock in and keep going. I'll give you guys an update soon. Okay, another thing about running, like this just happened. I was gonna stop recording it for a minute, but our neighbor's dog, cutest little dog, he's not a small dog, but he's pretty big, but he's like small big. He's big small. He just was out running on the road, and I know the dog and he knows me. But there have been so many cool opportunities for me to be able to help people with stuff just because I'm outside. And I thrive on being part of a community. And if I can be in community with my neighborhood, the very people I live next to, you know, Proverbs talks about how you should treat your neighbor. The Bible talks about your neighbor. You know, love your neighbor as yourself. Well, if I can love my literal neighbors, then, oh yeah, I'm going to. And there's so many little ways you can do that too. Like, if the mail person leaves a package somewhere that they shouldn't, you just go put it on their porch for them. It's like the opposite of being a porch pirate. I've done that a couple times. Or like, all right, I gotta slow down. Like the dog gets out. I can't count how many times that's happened. Not on one hand, at least. And it makes a world of difference. And so anytime I talk to people in the neighborhood, they know who I am. They're like, oh, you're that running kid. Or they're like, oh, do you do cross country? Are you on a team? And I'm like, no, I'm just the running kid. I just go on runs a lot. It's what I do. But people know who I am. And that is when your reputation precedes you. It proceeds, it goes ahead of you. Proceed, however you say it. But if your reputation goes ahead of you, then literally before you go anywhere, your reputation is already gone. And so they know who you are. I hope that makes sense. Like, does that make sense? Hey, look, there's a plane. That's cool. But, you know, when people see me, they think of, he's strong, he's consistent, he's capable. There was this one time I was out and our neighbor was having a birthday party, and he had all of his guy friends over, and they were just hanging out in the front yard. And it was the middle of July, right? And I was at my peak for that year, so I was doing like 7 miles that day. And these kids just like stopped after a while. Their house is right on the corner, so I run by them like twice every lap, or 3 or 4 times, you know? And eventually these kids just stopped and they were like, yeah, like, go Isaiah, like, you got this. Like, they're just like, he's still out here? He's still doing this? Like, what? And it was just the funniest thing, and I didn't forget it because, you know, when you have something like that happened because I was putting in hard work. That's a fun story for me, but what it really means to me is that, wow, look, you did how many months of work to get to this point, and now you're getting that recognition for it. Like, these guys want to be, like, they think what you're doing is cool right now. You're inspiring them. They think this is awesome. And that's really cool. I just inspired a whole group of guys, maybe, to get more fit. And I never saw any of them after that. I wasn't at the party or anything, but my neighbor knew me. All the guys were looking at me, and the kids were like, what is he, like, who's this guy out? Like, he's shredded, he's running, he's been out here for over an hour. What is he doing? You know? And so that was just like fun, because that's work that you put in, and then it comes back to you in a good way, in a beneficial way. Like, that benefited those guys, I hope. And I know it did, because they just, like, they couldn't believe it. So anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling about myself, waving to my neighbors. Yeah, I love my neighbors. Such a blessing to have good neighbors, man. It really is. All right, let's lock in. Let's see where we're at right now. Gotta do a bit of a check-in real quick. This is gonna be a long video. Continue workout. Yeah, resume workout.
Split 2. Split pace. 6 minutes.
6 minutes, 16 per mile.
Workout resumed.
I'm sorry, kilometer, not mile. That's pretty good. slower than my average, which means that we're doing what we wanted. We're out here, we're actually going pretty slow. It's just about getting the time in today. Being out for a duration of time, for a period of time, instead of a pace or instead of a distance, the distance and the time. Anyways, you get it. All right, you're doing good. We're doing good. One of the saddest things to me is, legitimately, one of the saddest things to me are jaded people. People who have just kind of, lost their fire for things, for life. It could be for any number of reasons. Maybe they lost something or someone. They're just stuck in work. Every week, every day is the same for them. Their friends are the same. Their experiences are the same. Not that those are bad things, just that it becomes so boring. Or no one's growing or stimulating each other or developing. And you just get stuck. They just get stuck in the cycle and they can't break it. And you get near them and you can just feel how they wish to be out of that cycle, but they don't know how to do it. And that is truly a shame to me. I can't imagine living like that or being stuck, feeling like I can't get out. I've been that way before, but I can't imagine giving up. I can't imagine living in it and not fighting to get your way out of it. That's just a tragedy. And it's not necessarily that person's fault at all. You gotta inspire them. You gotta be the light of the world, the salt of the earth. Give things richness, give them flavor. When you're cooking, there's a couple things that go into cooking. Salt, fat, acid, and heat. Maybe you've heard that before. Jesus tells us to be the salt of the world. So you got that already. How about that acid? Getting things a little uncomfortable sometimes, kind of burns a little bit, makes you think stuff through. Don't just take it for face value. Think it through, talk with people, have hard conversations. That fat, life is supposed to, we love fatty foods, we love sugary foods. Life is supposed to have enjoyment. Solomon talks about enjoying your drink, enjoying your food, enjoying the fruit of your labor, because life is a small piece of eternity. And you don't want to just live forever in this state, in this cycle of always being stuck. Salt, fat, acid, and that last one there is heat. You gotta be the heat, man. You gotta bring the heat. You always gotta bring the heat. You gotta have a fire in you. Have that fire in your soul. You gotta be the one to take the stand, to stand up when no one else is standing. You gotta be the person who calls the others and who rallies people. Because if you don't, and then if they don't, then all hope is lost. And the apostles were all killed for testifying about Jesus. But they wouldn't give it up. They could not relent the fire that they had, the fire that they felt, the fire that they had experienced. So you gotta be salt. Enjoy the fat of life. Bring the acid and bring the heat. Do you hear that? Oh, nature's so cool. Shoot from the shadow side. Ooh, this is acting like a tube. It brings the air conditioning straight through my arms. I can feel it. All right, we're doing good so far. This is the last lap, and then I'm going in. I gotta get back to finish, to stop a recording that I'm taking, a screen recording of a class that I watched. And we're wrapping up this run too. So it's been a good run so far. I just love getting out and thinking, man, these are so annoying. These are so stinking annoying. I love getting out and being myself. I love it. It's my favorite thing ever. You get out here, you just be yourself. You think whatever you want to think. You run for however long you want to run. It doesn't matter who's around you. You walk however much of it you want to. It's not about hitting goals. It's not about breaking records. Sure, it can be, but it shouldn't be for everybody. If that's not you, I'm not here trying to break any records right now. I'm trying to break my records. And then I'll go break someone else's records once mine are on par and then exceed theirs. I'm the only one that I'm fighting against here. More dogs. You get a lot of dogs that bark at you. You see a lot of squirrels in nature. A lot of grumpy people. See them too. You just see everyone when you're out on a run. You experience everything. It's so... I could just go on forever about how fun it is. It is so fun. All right, let's finish up this lap. Give you one last check-in report, and that'll be that. All right, let's go. I'm going to challenge the Apostle Peter to a run someday. I'm going to challenge him to a race. Because you know that John beat Peter to Jesus' grave when it was empty. Peter wasn't a runner, they say. He was beat by the most beloved apostle. I'm just messing. But like, seriously, how cool is that gonna be? He's like Moses. What was it like standing on the bottom of an ocean? And Jonah, what was it like being in the bottom of a creature that's bigger than you? I don't know the last time I heard someone get eaten by something that was bigger than them, first off. Physically larger. And then secondly, like to swallow them whole kind of large. And then secondly, to live to tell the tale. It's pretty awesome. And then third, I don't know how many times I've run home from a run because of an emergency. There's been a lot of those in my life. A lot of crazy emergencies, seizures, just crazy things. Or I've been out on a run and there was something like a seizure on the run with my little brother, and I had to race him back to the house as fast as I could. That's hard when you're 3/4 of the way through a run and you're done and you gotta sprint that half a mile, that quarter mile. You gotta do it. You don't get a choice. For someone else's life and safety, you have to. That really weighs on you as a man. I don't ever want to be in a position where I can't because I was too weak. And I know it's not up to me all the time. Sometimes that's just God. But goodness, I'm going to be as strong as I can for my future family, for my family now. That's mentally, that's spiritually, and physically. And this right here takes care of all of it. You really get clogged up on a winter run. I have borderline asthma too. So that borderline asthma doesn't always help when you're out on a run. And I used to have panic attacks. And I'd have panic attacks from having asthma. Hey there. My neighbors just walked by while I was saying that out loud. That's so funny. Like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't need to know that. Oh well, I'm on my way home. I gotta stop that class before it keeps recording and takes up space for nothing. All right, see you guys in the next one.